Hey there guys, in today's video I am going to show you how I have been working with my green cheek conure. One of the first things to do when developing a training plan for an animal is figuring out how you're going to reinforce that animal. So in today's video I'm going to walk you through the process of picking reinforcers for Widget, my green cheek conure. So if that's something you guys want to see, make sure to stick around because that's going to be coming up right after this. Guys, this is Jack over at Hi Redbird, where I am tirelessly working to find new ways to make the keeping of exotic animals and pets more exciting, more affordable, and ultimately more enjoyable. Now, I promised you guys when I got my brand new green cheek conure that I was going to take you on the journey of training this animal. My goal, which is still my goal, is that by the end of this year, Widget will be trained to do a wide variety of behaviors, including painting, because for me, that's one of the most exciting behaviors that an animal can do because people get so excited about it. So then they want to know more about the training process and how that all works. So I need to get started on training Widget. Well, one of the first things to do when training an animal is to find a reinforcer, something that you can use to shape behaviors, to encourage repetitive responses to a particular stimulus. Obviously, if you give your animal treats, if you give them, things that they like, because they did something, the chances are very, very good that they will do it again and again and again. So finding a reinforcer can be a really important part of training. I would argue it's going to be one of the most important things to do before you even start training. Now, with picking a reinforcer, there are a couple of things that you want to keep in mind. First and foremost, the reinforcer that you start with is not necessarily the reinforcer that you have to use for all time. You can change it, and in fact, your animal may lose interest in what their initial reinforcer is because if they get it every single training session, it may lose its novelty or it may not be as high value an item. So just keep that in mind. Because you picked something, it may not be what you are working with long term. The reinforcers that you use may also not be what you want to use long term. They could be food items that are really, really fatty or not necessarily healthy. But the thing to remember is that you will have the ability to change that. You can either change primary reinforcers, so if you're using a food item, change to another food item, or you can pair those reinforcers, so eventually you end up using something like head scratches, which is a secondary reinforcer. Obviously, for a brand new animal, may not have the same impact, but for an animal that you have been working with, building and developing your relationship, head scratches might end up being the preferred reinforcer. We just need something to get there. So picking out your first primary reinforcer is really, really important. So without further ado, let's jump into this little session so I can show you guys what I'm looking for. All right, guys, so one of the first things I'm going to do when picking out a reinforcer is finding something that the animal likes. So I'm going to go ahead and start off with Widget's food bowl because that's how he's used to seeing all of his different food. Now, Widget picked something out. It wasn't what I wanted that reinforcer to be. He picked out a piece of corn. So I'm going to go ahead and try some different things. We'll try a piece of carrot. I tried jostling the food in this bowl to see if he goes for something different. Again, the first item he went for is a piece of corn. Now, the reason that I say a piece of corn is not the ideal reinforcer for me is because if I am working with an animal who is getting corn, I know that I'm going to have to wait. So there you can see I tried a pellet. Again, not much interest. But corn definitely seems to be his chosen reinforcer. Now, this means that the training sessions are going to end up being a little bit longer because after I reinforce a behavior with that piece of corn, I have to wait for Widget to eat it. And if you've never seen a bird eat a kernel of corn, they don't eat the outer skin of it because it's nutritionally pretty worthless to them. So instead, they strip the inside and then drop that skin. Now, another thing you may want to check on is the presentation of those food items. If I pinch it between two fingers, it doesn't give Widget that much space that he could be able to access it. If I try it on my fingertip, obviously he has a better reach of that. So if you are working with a bird that is a little uncomfortable around hands, that may just be something that you want to keep in mind. How you present it can immensely change how they react to it. A whole food item versus a piece of a food item versus a peeled section of food. All of them, your bird will react to completely differently. Now, one of the things that I recommend doing is when you're establishing that reinforcer, if you can get any basic behaviors. Widget does know how to step up. Most birds, if they have been hand raised, they'll know how to step up. So you can go ahead and start reinforcing them for that. So I hope you guys found this video helpful. I hope it helps you to pick out your own reinforcers. If you like videos like this, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already so you don't miss out on any quality content. And I certainly hope to see you guys next time. I do need to say thank you to my Patreon patrons for helping to make these videos possible. You can find out more by visiting Hi Redbird on Patreon or clicking the link in the description section down below if you would like more information. Thanks!